5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hey, everyone. We're here with another version of Better Call Art. And today we're here with Martin and Mike from MyQ Company. In addition, we've got John DiCarlo on the line. He's our solution specialist from Stratix. And this time I'd like to welcome Martin and Mike. How are you guys today?
Fine. Thank you for your invitation.
Thank you for having us.
All right, and John, how are you?
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in today. So our discussion today is going to be centered around the advantages for Ricoh dealers with MyQ Company. So I'd like to lead off with Martin just giving us a short overview of MyQ Company, and then maybe moving us into some of the value points that Ricoh dealers will have. And then at that point in time, we can have John or Mike chip in as the panel to ask and answer additional questions or support answers they may have. So Martin, we'll kick it off with you.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Martin. I'm CEO of MyQ, and we are on the market more than 15 years for now. And I also invited Michael Demo, who is our pre-sales expert. He's currently with us more than 11 years, right?
That's right.
And he's here just to handle all the technical answers and questions from your side. So regarding the MyQ, as I said, we started with an on-premise product, which is called MyQ X. And we've been developing this for a lot of years, exactly 15 years. But before that, we had a long connection with the print industry. So as you can see, we are just celebrating 30 years in print industry. So after the previous 15 years, we could put all the knowledge we collected into the product, and we are still doing it and improving it. So this is how we started. And when we speak about the Ricoh, in a really beginning, we added much more vendors to our portfolio. So we started to be compatible, with many brands. But it's important to say that there are big differences between those brands. And the main difference is the development platform. So how we do our business or our job with our solution, we are always trying, to add something more to the machine. So we are not decreasing the value of the machine, but we are using the full capability of the developing platform, to add something more and to make the device even much more smarter than it is.
Right.
And good news is that Ricoh machines, especially with the latest Smart SDK development platform, gave us a huge opportunity which we could serve, to our mutual customers. So this is how we have been developing our on-premise product for years. And in the last 2 years, we decided to step in a cloud industry or cloud print market. And we launched our second main product, and it is called MyQ Roger. So currently, we are able, to offer those two products. And it really depends if your customer is focused on, let's say, performance and high speed of transactions, then on-premise or private cloud is the perfect fit. In case of mobility, flexibility, resilience, and many other cool trends, then MyQ Roger as a pure cloud product can satisfy the customer's needs and can be a very cool product and can come with a lot of unique benefits for them.
Got it. So is there some unique value points for the connection of these MFPs with Ricoh?
We really appreciate that the Ricoh platform allowed us to do a lot of things which we can't do with other brands. And in other words, we are able, to offer a very unique functions. And one very critical function, which we use for both products, but for cloud product is a critical or is really important, is a possibility that we can store printing documents inside the Ricoh printer. So when we speak about the trend, that we would like to eliminate servers, we would like to go to the cloud. Before we stepped in this imagination or this work, we wanted to solve this critical thing where we can store documents, because in the past we could store those documents on the server and they were printed after your authorization. But if you go to the cloud, then where is the storage? It can be in the cloud, but then it's a huge pressure on your internet connection. So it can overload your connection, and it can also delay the delivery of the document from your computer to the final destination, which can be the printer. You can store the document also on your notebook, let's say, but then your notebook must be running, because if you put your notebook after the printing transaction to the back, and you go to the printer and you want to collect the document on the printer, it's impossible because your notebook is switched off. So the third possibility was which we invented, and we invented this with MyQX, and then it started to be a heart of our MyQ Cloud product, MyQ Roger, and it is the possibility that you can print the document directly to some of the printers. This document is stored there securely, right, and is waiting until your release. So whenever you come to the printer and authorize yourself, printer can identify your documents and will print it, even without the access to your computer or to some cloud storage. So this is something which can really save a lot of costs, because if you need to store somewhere in the cloud, finally the customer will pay for the usage of the cloud, and it can dramatically increase the transaction or the delivery or the reaction time, because the document is already there. So it's just a matter of printing of such a document.
Understood. I'm going to give it over to John and let John ask a couple of questions that I'm sure our audience would be interested in hearing. So John, I'll put it over to you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Art. Yeah, I have a couple of things. Number one, I have a lot of customers coming to me. I just want to make sure I understand. I have a lot of customers coming to me who don't want to be in the server business anymore. They don't want to have physical devices in their network that they have to manage, power, backup, update, make secure, all that stuff. So I just want to understand. So your system, your MyQ Roger, is entirely in the cloud.
Yeah,
correct?
Exactly. That's what you said. When you are using the Ricoh machine with it, it will be the only hardware in your network, except for the computer for which you're printing. But basically, everything is fully in a cloud. You've got the tenant where you've got the users, you manage them. You might have your own cloud storages where you've got your print jobs, or you have the other option, because that's not been yet explained. What Martin mentioned, that you don't even have to send your jobs to the cloud, because you can send them directly to the machines, where the machine will act something like a server. It's not a server, but it's there, stored securely, and waiting for you to release the job. And so yeah, we can say that it's perfectly 100% cloud.
I was just going to ask, how secure is that storage of documents on the MFP, on the copier?
Basically, it's just about the encryption of the hard drive. So, simply you cannot do it. You cannot access the actual physical hard drive. The files are encrypted there as well. So there's no way to access those files unless the application will decide that you're the owner based on your authentication, and then give you access only to your files.
Gotcha. Okay. So I know one of the things that the customers are going to ask, what if my internet connection goes down? Can I still print those jobs that are stored on the MFP?
If those are stored on the machine? Yeah.
Really?
Like I said, if those are stored on the machines, we're using the functionality of the offline print, where the machine knows your last used credentials.
Okay.
So technically, even in such a case that, it's unlikely that the connection between the local network and the cloud will be severed. If that happens, you're good to go, because the machine remembers your last used login and you're allowed to print again. So yeah, still you can send new jobs, you can release those that were stored there. You're not limited in any way.
That's fantastic. Now, when the user walks up to the copier, what methods do you have for authentication? How do I prove that it's me that's standing in front of that machine?
There are actually a few. Now, the obvious ones like the password, the card, the two-factor stuff. You can authenticate using the mobile app, because one really important part of MicroRoger, it's not only about having everything in the cloud and having the printer on which you can work, but also there's a powerful application available for free on iOS and the Android. You can simply download it and work from there, which not only it gives you the option to control everything from your phone. We'll get to that later, maybe. But more important is it gives you additional options through which you can authenticate when you are at the machine. So for example, you can scan the QR code, which is probably already guessed that it's possible. But there are other options like there's an NFC tag, which can be programmed and put as a sticker on your MFD. And that way, the application on a mobile can just authenticate reading that NFC tag. Or if you've got a card reader that supports the low frequency Bluetooth, same thing. You can just use your mobile phone to authenticate and control everything from your mobile phone. And it, of course, and it's using the technology of low frequency Bluetooth, it also gives you an estimate where the closest printer is and how far it is from you. So again, it's still a bit geeky, but it looks perfectly nice when you see it on the mobile.
That sounds
Maybe
amazing.
I would add one important thing, because you were curious about the security. And
Yes.
security in a cloud product must be top priority for all solutions, because it can be how to say, it's available for much more wider group of potential users, maybe even unwanted users. And we have also something very unique on the machines. So as QR code was mentioned, we don't have a static QR code, we have a dynamic QR code. What does it mean? That after the usage, this code is always refreshed and changed. So you can use the code only one time and only for a specific time. So after the usage or after it's expired, it's renewed, and the previous code is unavailable. So if you make a copy of such a code, you can't control the device remotely or from a different location, because the code will be expired already. So this is just the example how we treat security and how we are always trying to find ways to keep data and documents of our customers safe and secure.
Very interesting. Very good. It sounds like you thought of a lot before making this application. So that's really cool. I would like to ask you a couple of questions about some specific customers that I've run into in the very recent past. Number one was real estate companies. It seems that real estate companies it's very common that the real estate companies don't have a domain, an Active Directory or an Azure domain. It's very common that their employees are not really employees, they're real estate agents, and they don't really have any authentication. So would your system work in that case?
Yeah. Let me answer that one. Simply, one of the parts of MicroRoger is the module to self-register. So, of course, for the corporate environment, it has the options to connect to your Azure AD and synchronize the users. But for these, like you said, where you just want to come there, do your job, and leave, and you don't want to bother by looking for the admin to register you or something like that. The MicroRoger can actually do that for you, because like I mentioned the mobile application before, there's an option to just simply log in for the first time, where you use your Apple ID, your Google account, or Microsoft. So you will just self-register, scan the QR code on the machine, and from that moment you control everything and you can work with the machine and then just leave when you need it.
But it's important to say that we can handle, the central evidence of those users. So the admin can easily allow or disallow, the access for those users. So he can allow automatic registration, or he can even manually insert, user accounts which should have access for a device. And those users can have several options how to print or scan on those devices. So even without the notebook and any company account, you can come to the printer if you are allowed, and you can log in on the machine through your mobile application, and you can print some PDF file or Word or Excel from your cloud storage, or you can send it even from your mobile directly to the machine. So there are a lot of options how to print, or from which source you can print. So you don't need to print always from the computer. You can use all the storages around you, including USB stick, which can be allowed to be used for printing or scanning.
Gotcha. And I'm assuming that the real estate company, the manager, can see who is accessing and printing and copying even on the devices?
Yeah, definitely. He's got an overview of all the details, what's been done there. Maybe what Martin mentioned there is that there's also option to approve it. So you will either let them register, or then that has to be after first registration, it has to be approved that they get access. And then whatever they do isn't reported. Whatever they copy, scan, we do not touch the actual files, so we don't have copies of their files, but we know everything about them, like how many copies, what's been done, what's been printed, copied, or scanned.
Gotcha. And at the end of the month, is there a report that can be run to show how much each person?
Yeah, definitely. For the admin, it's in the UI. So if you're the provider of the service, you can see it for the whole system. And even if you're a common user and you've got the mobile app, you can just go there, select specific months, and just browse through history to see how much you spent for all these services.
Okay. Wow. Very nice. And it gives you costs, not just copies. Not just pages, actually costs.
Specific types of documents and the cost that is, attached to it. Because, as the price list has been defined, we collect all these things, and then in the report, you've got a perfect overview of like how much it cost you, how much you spent on that and that.
Nice.
Everything perfectly organized.
Each real estate agent, we get essentially a bill at the end of the month. This is how much you've used the device.
Yep.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Very nice.
And maybe we can just add that this accounting is really accurate. So so we really count the real printed pages or scanned pages or copied pages. So it's really reliable in terms of further accounting or invoicing or whatever.
Very nice. As a Ricoh dealer, do we have access to a not for resale copy of the service? Is it something we can install on a machine in our demo room that can be demonstrated to a customer?
Yeah, definitely. As a dealer, we just have to contact us. We'll prepare an FR license for you. You can play with it. You will get the clients everything. You can install it in your room, and of course, get our support with the first installs. So definitely, we're ready to support the market as well.
By the way, you have two options how to demonstrate our product, and we have even something which is much more attractive, and we use it also in our demo room and with a lot of partners, because we have two options. You can run MyQ Roger, for personal use. We call it for personal use, and then it allows to be used by all users who have some personal account. The benefit is that if such a customer will come to your office, he can simply register himself, on the mobile application, and just right after that, he can start to use the machine. So he can try, to print some private files from his storage on your device. He can immediately log in. He can see how he can browse even, the folders directly on the panel. So you can, if you have access and if you register your OneDrive or Google Drive on your mobile application, you will see exact the same workflows on the panel. So you can trigger the same workflows like on your mobile phone, and you can even browse your files, on your Google Drive or OneDrive or any other storage which is integrated with our application. So this is a very cool feature, because then you don't need to handle this manual registration to your private tenant. But this is the second option. So if you really want to know all the capabilities about our product, then we can provide you an FR license, which is the license which you can freely use for your whole company, even for your daily usage. And then you have access to the server settings, so you can see all the things you can set up on the server. And you can see all the capabilities you can somehow manage by this application. So the demonstration for the client is almost the same. The only handicap is that until the customer can log in, on the device, you need somehow register his account to your private tenant in this case.
I see.
But
So
both
you have
examples-
to, when they
but both
register,
ways
you
are
have to
available.
allow that registration.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, so it's
Which probably you
so-
don't want, to have in your internal user.
I see. So somebody can't walk in off the street and start printing. They have to be allowed into the system to be able to print.
Yes.
I see. Oh, okay. Okay. I like that. I like that a lot. Okay. Very nice. Very nice. Now you mentioned something about collecting money. Would this work in a library situation where you have patrons that, may be patrons of the library? They may just be walking in off the street. I don't, as a library, I don't want to have to collect money. I don't want to have coin boxes. Is this something that could actually work in that kind of
As Michael said, currently with Mighty Roger, we have a perfect control about all the activities you have made on the printer. So,
Okay.
we can track all the things and provide the appropriate report. Now we are working on a very cool module, which is called print sharing. And this module will allow you, to connect or let's take it from another way. I think you know Uber, right? So it's a platform. It's a platform which provides the connection between those who want to travel with those who are able to provide transport services. Doesn't matter if it is a car or whatever. And our vision with this module is basically the same, that we want to be the platform which will connect those who want to print or scan or do some copies on the printers, which are maintained and serviced by the providers. Yeah. So I think that it's something similar like what happened in the offices when we moved, local printers to the corridor. You needed some platform or solution which started to control the access, etc., etc. But it was used just for the concrete company. With the print sharing module, and because we are in a cloud, we will allow to move this device to some public place, reception, library, university, wherever you can imagine. And on such a place, we will need just internet connection. Then everybody can work on such a device without any assistance of some receptionist or whatever. And the service provider will just define the conditions for the usage. So it can have different rights for this concrete model or this concrete location. Doesn't matter. Yeah, it's freely manageable, or it will be freely manageable by the service providers. And in reality, when the user comes to such a place, he will just authorize himself, do the printing, scanning, copying, and he will be charged personally, by our online payments. So we will collect the money, we will charge the user, and periodically we will provide, the appropriate money back to the service provider. So they don't be stressed, about the minute transactions and all those things. It will be our responsibility, and it will be really the same principle like Uber. So they are also collecting money online from the customers and send them back to the taxi drivers and owners of the cars.
That's fantastic. I mean, for shared workspace, that would be fantastic. You have temporary office renting. Here's copy and print services and scan services. That's fantastic. Very nice. Very nice.
What is really important, and maybe this is not visible when we speak just about this feature, it can be a game changer in terms of the sustainability. Yeah, because you can imagine, for example, a big house, let's say a lot of block of flats. There are a lot of households, right? So maybe every second household needed to purchase some local, very cheap device, which is maybe not so reliable. They have some troubles when the consumable is out, etc., etc. And now imagine the situation that you can put, one or two professional corridor devices in the reception. They can put all those machines out of their households, so because they need to print just several pages per week, maybe, or now maybe per month. So when they really need to use such a service, they can go to the reception or to the nearest shopping center or somewhere where the machine will be available, and they can proceed the printing. For
Gotcha.
scanning, probably they can just use our mobile application, because for scanning we can provide a lot of features which can handle the scanning in a very similar quality like from the printer. So for several sheets of paper, it's much more convenient, you know, to use your camera and our OCR software, which is included in our mobile application, to provide searchable PDF, which is stored exactly somewhere where you want to have it, and in the same way like you can do it on the machine. So there are a lot of things, you know, we can provide through thanks to our platform. But the important thing is that if we eliminate a lot of small devices from the households, and we will replace, let's say, hundreds of small devices by several professional corridor machines with much more better running costs and better reliability, then we can influence sustainability and environment conditions or, you know, our planet much more than before. So what we did in the offices in the past, we will be able to do, you know, with much more bigger scale.
Maybe one more thing, if I can add, not only the sustainability part, but also imagine that you can sell these big machines to customers that normally would not buy such a machine. Because, you know, now in the block of flats, you don't have these big devices, and you can now sell it to many of those, just servicing customers which would normally not use your device. So it's also a good message for the partners that they can now focus on these big machines they can sell to customers which would normally not be interested, or normally, I mean, like now.
That's very interesting.
Yeah.
I never thought of that. Yeah. Another opportunity for dealers. Very nice. Very nice.
Absolutely. Hey, John, did you have any additional questions?
Maybe
I didn't really think so.
we,
Yes.
maybe when we touch the dealers, there is also one very important benefit for the service providers, you know, because, you know, that we all live on the market when the printing volume is declining, right? So a lot of projects and contracts start to be not so profitable, because when the volume is low, then you can, you know, collect the money which you expected, and you probably can't, you know, cover all the costs which needs to cover, you know, service and all other things. But you can imagine that if we centralize, or if we collect all those low volumes to one corridor machine in the reception, we can make this volume again enough big to be profitable for the service provider, and then everybody can be happy. So service provider doesn't need to take care about the location, if it is directly in the office on the 7th floor or in the reception. For him, it's important that the volume is enough, and for all users, it's okay, because if their volume is low, it's not an issue, you know, to go downstairs and finish the printing. So it's not only for a private usage in block of flats, but also if in office buildings or co-working spaces, where probably for each company the volume would be really low. But when we collect all those volumes into such a location, we can be profitable again. So you know, there are so many benefits for the dealers as well, and they can earn on this platform.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, I mean, the only other questions I would have really probably for Michael are very technical. Where do I get the embedded application for the Ricoh devices? How do I install it? How do I attach it to my account? You know, those kinds of things. And I don't want to bore anybody with those details, but I really would like to take a look at this and see how it works. I mean, I think I don't have I'm at my home office right now. I don't have a machine to play with, but when I go to my
if you've got 10 minutes, we can do it easily.
Really?
No, it's actually one me mentioning those 10 minutes, because it's so easy to do it. Because, you know, you can just download the app. You need access to the tenant, where you register, and that is a tool that will just deploy it on your machine. And the last point is, you will just push the configuration from their installer app, or you can use your mobile again, scan the QR code for the first time, and it's registered with a tenant. So it's not only about like to have good solution, but also it has to be super quick and super easy to manage, which is one of our goals as well. And that's why I said 10 minutes, because in 10 minutes, I just need your machine, I prepare the tenant here, and you're ready to go.
Gotcha. Okay. Excellent.
Probably it's also good to mention that you can manage all your projects and customers on our centralized business portal. So basically, when you need to create new project for your new customer and create new, let's say, tenant private environment, for such a customer, it's just a matter of few clicks on our portal. The tenant environment will be automatically created. The license will be automatically connected, and you can set up, all the conditions about the subscription, and the system is running from the time. So you don't need to speak with us. You don't need to email us and wait for the response. You can manage everything by yourself, including some announcement of the licensing for the future. And as you said, you are just right now at your home office and you don't have a printer. You can start to use our product right now, because you can download, the MyQRoger from your App Store or Google Store, and you can register yourself via probably personal account, and you can immediately start to do the scanning with our OCR functionalities, as we mentioned. So you can already start, to work with those, and whenever you authorize yourself on your printer in the office later, you will see what magic will happen.
Gotcha. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to put it on my phone now and start playing around. Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah. Hey, so this has been great, John. Some real world questions, that can help out a bunch of dealers and actually a bunch of salespeople, and in addition, all the clients who could benefit from this service of MyQ. So I'd like to thank John very much. I'd like to thank Michael very much. And of course, thank Martin, especially for their time today in helping us understand a little bit more about the value points and working with MyQ and Ricoh dealers and the advantages that they can have in their marketplace. But just like to thank everybody again for their time.
It was my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Mike.